what you know about that. Hey. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? It's your boy Big Dad back again with another mother loving reaction video. I'ma stop cussing so much in these videos. I just can't help it. I mean, my family cursed when I was growing up, and I curse, and you know, it's just a domino effect, I guess. But today we got a user requested reaction. Do all multicultural people think the same? Now, I grew up straight black. I mean, I'm African American through and through. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really much diversity in my family. I started dating someone who was mixed. Her mom was white, her dad was black, or is black. And she has a Vietnamese auntie, all white sister and all black sister, African. They're a lot of people like to distinguish. If there's a difference between Africans and black people, I really don't fall out of that category because I don't like the separation. But she has an African sister. Her dad is African also, and then she has a little black brother that grew up over here. He got African in him, but they grew up over here. So I'm sure people outside are gonna say he's just full black. So I definitely fall under the category of I was one of those black people that believe that, I never really thought about other races. It was more of just like, I thought if you was mixed, you was black. Like, because, the way my mind was set up was, them white folks, you know what I'm saying, that made us only our 3/5 of our vote count and all the BS that happened back in the day. If you wasn't full blood Anglo-Saxon, like Luka Doncic, you was black, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I always thought, they treat us some type of way, so they gonna treat y'all some type of way. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of how I felt growing up. But when I started dating her, she allowed me to see a lot of things that, it's not always black and white like that, no pun intended. And then now I have a mixed best friend. His mom's white, his dad's black. And, but they grew up two totally different ways. The girl I'm dating, she was, mostly raised by her white side, like she was, and my best friend, he was mostly raised by his white mom, but they were around a lot of black people. So he kind of identifies more with his black side. And I'm telling y'all this because that's literally what they told me. They're the same race of people, they're the same that mixed race, but they identified on two different sides of the spectrum. But anyways, that's enough for me talking. Let's get into the video.
I'm there, but we're selling out like lightning fast. So you have to go right now. Literally right now.
I do use the N-word, but I only say it when I'm around fellow black people, so my friends or my family who are black. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't look black, so when it comes out of my mouth, they're like, whoa.
You're mixed race, correct?
Yes, sir. I am mixed with African and Asian. I am more Asian than black.
Wow.
My dad was from El Salvador, and my mom is half Japanese, half Jewish.
My ethnicity is Filipino and black.
Wow.
I do feel more inclined to...
She is very beautiful. I've never seen someone that looks like her. Not in a bad way, like Filipino and black. Like, that's kind of wild, And as a black person, I will admit, there is, double standards when it comes to the N-word. I think someone that looks like her, I think, I don't want to speak for all black people. I can speak for, a lot of black people, though. It'd probably be uncomfortable coming from her just because she doesn't, I don't know how to say this PC, like she just don't look like a black person. Like, you know what I'm saying? She got the nose like one, but you got the, Filipino eyes, you know what I'm saying? You got the Filipino skin. Like, you look like a dark Filipino. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily look black.
My black side more than my Filipino side.
My mother is white and my dad is Iranian. All throughout high school, I just pretended I was white because I looked very white.
You do look white.
I am half Chinese, half Russian Jewish. I never really connected to either side, just somewhere in the middle.
My mom is Jamaican and my dad is Australian.
I want to learn about bruh's story. I need that. Anja, forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, but yeah, Jamaican and Australian. Wow.
Mixed race is a race, so I don't feel like I want to have to pick.
People think I'm hot because I'm mixed race. 3, 2, 1, go.
As a mixed black person, a lot of people are like, oh my god, like you're like light skinned, you look so nice. Like you don't look like all the other ghetto girls. And I'm like,
Oh, exactly.
what is that supposed to mean?
Right.
That's my aunt. Like,
Exactly.
On first dates, most of the time people be like, oh no.
I went through that a lot in school. You know, going to a predominantly white high school, it was a lot of, you know, oh, well, you're not ghetto like the rest of them. What the fuck does ghetto mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hood? Is that what you're trying to say? Like, come on, bro. Like, don't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because, you know, she look a certain way and this person look a certain way, don't mean that they deserve to be treated like anything else. Like, it was typical, man. It was, and you know, I went to high school before, you know, it was like literally like a year before everybody became tolerant. I guess PC, I guess if you want to say, like, it was very like that for me growing up too. Like, you know, people would tell me all the time, well, you're not like those ghetto black people. Like she said, like my aunt, like my mom, like what are you trying to say? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro, don't do that. Because if black people go around being like, well, you're not, you know, the Trump white person, then, you know what I'm saying, then all of a sudden we would be in the wrong. I don't like that.
Wonder you're so attractive, or like, no wonder you're so gorgeous, and I'm just like, ugh. I don't love that reaction.
I've always found like it's like just an awkward thing to bring up in conversation because there's like all the memes where like people are like, oh, did you know like I'm mixed or whatever, and it's like bringing it up in like the natural flow of conversation is always kind of weird.
I need to see these memes.
Have you not seen like the Logic memes where he's like, oh, I'm biracial, and it's like, you haven't seen
No!
He's just always bringing up how he's like half black, and that's like what the meme is.
I'm allowed to say racial slurs as long as I'm part of that identity. 3,
I mean,
2, 1, go.
Me personally, I do not say the N-word. I just don't. It just doesn't flow out right. But like for my Asian side, obviously I can call my like fellow girlies chinks and stuff. But like obviously if someone else said that, you get the fist.
I agree.
That was
I
not
do
scary.
use the N-word, but I only say it when I'm around fellow black people, so my friends or
Right.
my family who are black. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't look black, so when it comes out of my mouth, they're like, whoa.
I try my best to only use the N-word around like my black friends just because it creates this like weird air when I'm with like white people. It's a slippery slope.
And I will say though, like, he looks like he's mixed. You know what I'm saying? He just looked like he mixed. So, you know, I know around me and my partners, like, we would probably accept the fact that you say the N-word. I mean, I got a Mexican and black homie that say the N-word. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, my mixed friend, my best friend, he say the N-word all the time. We talk every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's different though. I don't know. Like I said, if I didn't know her, I would probably feel a way about her saying it. But once I got to know her, found out she was black, and then I know it's weird and it's a double standard, but it's also how it flows in conversation. Like she said, like, you know, it sounds weird when I say it. That's probably a big meaning that you probably shouldn't, like, signal that you shouldn't be saying it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you gotta, you know what I'm saying, be like, like, come on, like, that's just weird and, like, corny. Like, but, you know, I'm just gonna be like, bro, nigga, let me tell you, like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, and then as black people, you know, I think a lot of times people that aren't black don't realize, like, we grow up around people saying it. Like, we was 5, 6 years old, be like, look, nigga, go get me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, obviously, it's ingrained in us. And then we get older, and it's like, we don't remember ever saying the first N-word. We just say it. Like, but God forbid if anybody else that don't look black passing say it. It's a double standard, absolutely. And I'm willing to admit that, but it's just different. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things that you can't really explain. It's just different. It's not fair, but it's different.
That I don't like to go down.
Probably makes them really uncomfortable.
And it actually, like, more than you think, it's not even uncomfortable. A lot of them think it's really cool, and then some people will feel entitled to do that, and then you just don't want to have that conversation.
That was me with my Asian friends.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of Asian people like to go into black culture sometimes.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I did get into a little bit of an altercation in high school for calling white people colonists. That was the thing. And people were like, that's a racial slur. I don't think it is.
That is not a racial slur.
white people don't have a racial slur that hits like the N-word, that hits like the WB word for Hispanic people, that hits like I'm trying to think, like that hits like the like what she said, the CHINK word earlier for Asian people. They don't have, white people just don't have it. I mean, I can call you a cracker and a colonist and a mayo lover and a white devil. You know what I'm saying? I could do that, but that's not gonna hit like you calling me the N word. Like, it's just not. It just don't. And it's because of historical references. These words were buried deep in history to try to put us down, us as minorities. So you're not, like, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna come up with a word like that in 2021. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just ain't gonna happen. And, you know, like I said, white people just haven't been oppressed like minorities have in this specific country. Obviously, yes, you go back in time, everybody was a slave at some point. I'm not, you know, debating that because it's literally in history books. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to America and this country, white people just don't have that word like minorities do.
Personally, I don't feel comfortable using any slurs. If I haven't heard those slurs towards me, then maybe I am not in a position to reclaim them.
How you pass is more important than your actual rate. 2, 1, go.
In America today, walking down the street, it matters what you look like.
Facts.
People are gonna judge you based on the race that they perceive you to be. When I walk down the street, people aren't gonna look at me the same way as they look at someone who's perceived as black. And so I just wanna really acknowledge the reality of that.
I wouldn't disagree with you at all, but at the same time, I think the most important thing is just how you grew up. Someone that has a black parent that doesn't appear black, they were still raised by a black person. They still everything that their parents' experience is passed down to them, whether it's through story or just through actions.
I'm actually going to move over to this line, which is, I guess, more of a middle line, just because I can't do that. Then I'm here. Never mind. So I'm on somewhat agree because I'm an actor, and when I go into casting calls, it only matters what I look like, and it only matters what race they think I am, which is a lot of times white. But sometimes I'll get called in for things that are not my ethnicity, and that's because of my career. That's what's important with that.
I've tried to hide some of my racial identity. 3, 2, 1, go.
Even throughout high school, I just pretended I was white completely. And there was a time when my dad picked me up from school. It was a whole thing, and people were saying oh, your dad's a terrorist. I had never experienced anything like that, or they'd ask me about it, they'd make bomb jokes, and it hurt to hear people saying stuff like that about my dad.
A similar thing happened to me, when I was in elementary school. My dad came and dropped me off at school, and he's a dark-skinned black man, and he's from the hood on top of that, so he has a certain aura to him. And a lot of people look at me that's your dad? And I'm yeah, that's my dad. And they're he looks so scary. And I'm why does he look scary to you? Why should he look scary to you? And the only thing that's keeping me away from this strongly disagree is because when I was younger, I just did not accept the black part of myself. And now I do.
I just want to say I'm really sorry to both of you that you felt you've been put in positions to feel like that. That's just such a terrible thing to tell someone. No, you can't be every part of who you are.
These past couple years, I've been trying to reconnect with that part because I shoved it down for so long, and it's been really heartbreaking, the amount of Nowruzes I missed and the Ramadans I didn't celebrate.
I think I've tried to hide some of my racial identity. I think that it's about who you're around also, right? Like I said, I went to 2 different high schools. In one of my previous videos, I said, I went to a predominantly white high school and I went to a predominantly black high school. I went to the predominantly black high school towards the end of my high school career. And I can tell you, it was a lot of things that I saw at the predominantly white high school. A lot of the kids that didn't identify with, rich, wealthy style of living that had a tough time fitting in, because I was one of those kids. I fit in with the hood kids. Me and my people was from the hood. You know what I'm saying? Even the place that I lived in, where I went to, that I was zoned to that specific high school, it wasn't rich over there. Everybody that went to this specific high school that didn't go there with us, they thought we was all rich. It wasn't the hood, but it wasn't. I knew some kids that was driving brand new Hummers. I'll put it that way. But it's one of those things that, if you're around people and if they're only accepting you when you act white or you act black or you act Hispanic, then you're going to start acting that way because you feel like that's right. It's not until you get older and realize, holy hell, it's okay if I act like this. For me, I can tell y'all my experience personally. I got to this predominantly white high school. I've always been a big person. Always. I've always had weight on me. So, I'm used to black culture. I'm used to the chains, the big shirts, the big pants, Air Force Ones, like, oh Lord, the Air Force Ones, like, the light-skinned dude over here wearing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we're used to wearing. I got over to the predominantly white high school, and, it was like they was wearing Aeropostale and skinny jeans, and, I thought I didn't fit in. And then even to the teachers, I looked like a threat. Because I was big and I was wearing these baggy clothes. I guess they thought I was going to come school with a gun on me. But then I go to the predominantly black high school, and I didn't have to every single day think about the fact that I was black. I was just Dedrick. Like, it wasn't like, oh, bro, you know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. Like, I was just Dedrick. I didn't have to think, oh, man, let me go wear Aeropostale. I could wear whatever I wanted to because most of the kids there was wearing the same type of stuff. So it was just different in that way. And, there's a difference when you grow up privileged and you grow up down to earth. You see different things. And like I said, now that I'm 26 years old, I'm not ashamed of my blackness anymore like I used to be, because it was the kids I was around that made me ashamed of my blackness. Because it was a thing called, black so-and-so, like black whatever school you went to. Because in this predominantly white high school, the black kids just mess with the black kids because we were outcast. You know what I'm saying? And it took, like I said, it took me until this long to realize all this. And it took me a minute to realize it's okay being black. It's okay not driving a brand new Hummer off the lot. It's okay, you know what I'm saying, not living in a high rise in downtown wherever. Like, it took me a while to realize that, but I'm thankful that I did. But now that I went to that predominantly black high school, they kind of living the same life I'm living. We all got kids. We all, we click. We're right here, right? You know what I'm saying? But I think that's because I identify more with them because that's how I grew up overall. You know what I'm saying? Before I got to this predominantly white high school, that's just how I grew up. So.
Felt so uncomfortable about
I
that.
think it's important you're taking the steps, though. Personally, I've never tried to hide any part of me. That's always been, like, the biggest thing for me. Growing up, like, I was always proud to be white, and I was always proud to be black. That's just how I was raised, and that's always how I was, and I just wanted to be me. So that's what I did.
The reason I'm on this line is because Western beauty standards suck. They really, really got to me. I would be really picky about how I would do my hair and how I would part my hair. And then when I would post YouTube videos or Instagram posts, I would color correct everything to be really blue so that I didn't look yellow. And it was just like, I didn't want to post a photo of me outside because I thought my eyes looked too Asian. A lot of internalized things that made me hate myself and my appearance. And now I feel much more accepting of being mixed and being everything that I am, but I am here because I have felt like I wanted to hide a part of me, because it would have been easier for me.
I agree. Like, when I was younger, I used to want to be lighter. I used to get made fun of. I would always get the question, are you adopted? Wow. You're not Asian. And it just made me feel so bad about myself that I just was so confused because I didn't fit in any single pocket of anybody in any friend groups. I couldn't hang out with the Chinese kids because they're like, you don't look Chinese. I don't hang out with the black kids because I don't sound black. And they say I'm whitewashed. So my whole entire life, I've literally battled within, like, what the hell am I?
And I will admit, I was one of those black kids. This is how we grew up, We grew up when someone talked white, like, we're like, bro, why you talk white? Like, we didn't know it was bad back then. We just thought that's what it was. Like, and it's messed up that we did people like that, because You know, just because you like, I'm one of those people now. I'm just accepting. Like I don't look at people and automatically think, oh, they Asian. Like you know what I'm saying, or oh, they Mexican. You know what I'm saying, or they Puerto Rican. Like you know what I'm saying. I look at you for you. So as somebody that used to do that to people and was in groups running that used to do that to people, you know, you just gotta feel like you gotta feel bad. Number one, because like I never meant any harm by it, and then number two, you know, these kids didn't know where they fit in. You know, they never knew where they fitted in. Like, and so I could only imagine, you know, feeling like an outcast in that way, and that sucks.
I've used my races to my advantage.
We all have.
3, 2, 1, go.
We all have.
So I feel like I just have to say that when writing college essays, every single one of my essays was about being half Iranian and half white. Like when I was applying for scholarships, that's what I would talk about because it was something that I really felt passionate about, but also that something that I knew would catch people's interest. And I think I don't feel guilty about using that because I think it's a double-edged sword and there's lots of repercussions for being mixed race too.
Well, I kind of interpreted it differently. Like, I haven't really abused my power like that. Like, sure, that is a way like that, but like, I haven't done anything else besides that on like my college apps.
So I don't know if I can do this, but maybe I'm gonna like straddle these two.
You can't do that.
Okay, then I'll like daintily pose over here. But like, my grandma was Jewish, and I did go on Birthright, which is a free trip for people of Jewish descent. And even though I don't like identify a lot with the Jewish religion, I did get a free trip to Israel out of being part Jewish. So I guess that's like kind of something to my advantage. But I really loved my time there.
Hey,
and got a
free
lot out of
trip.
it. Yeah, free trip.
I mean, I think that we all have. I think that, I mean, we've all used our race to our advantage. And in certain instances, that's bad. In certain instances, that's good. I mean, something as simple as saying the N-word. Black people, we say the N-word because we can. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we're black. We're using our skin tone to our advantage. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's an advance, you know, of being black. You know, white people, you know, y'all, I hate to get into it, but y'all, we already know the advantages of being white. I mean, we ain't got to really discuss those. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we all have. You know what I'm saying? It's hard not to do because if you just look a certain way, you just look a certain way. You know, if I go to the basketball court, if me and the dude right here that's got the out shirt on, if me and him go to the basketball court, who you think they picking? You know what I'm saying? Like, who you think they go pick up first? But if me and him, you know what I'm saying, go get a loan, or, you know what I'm saying, or we walking down the street on two opposite sides of the street, and a white lady walking down, which side you think she gonna get on? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there are different advantages and disadvantages for both. You know, now whether you want to argue, you know, what disadvantage and advantage is bigger or smaller, that's another argument. But I feel like we all have. It's and literally impossible to do. It's like breathing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah, but, you know.
I've like gotten like jobs for being half Asian, for like I worked at mostly predominantly Asian businesses, and as soon as I say I speak fluent Cantonese, I got the job.
But that's like a skill.
I know.
Like,
it
you
is
can
a
be
skill.
proud of it. It's a
No,
skill
I
that you
love
have.
it. No, trust me, but it does get me job opportunities better than other people who are like, you know, white or black, who get the same positions, but they would hire me because I'm half Asian and like I speak the language and stuff.
Okay, I moved because I was thinking more about the question. When I first heard the question, I was thinking like, do I have any kind of advantage? And then I was thinking about how like being part white does give me some privilege and like some advantages, but I don't think I've used that for like scholarships or any of that. And I try to really stay conscious when I'm in like an Asian space to not take up too much of the space because of my whiteness, you know? Like, it's like
But
it's a
still
fine
your
line.
space. Like,
Right.
you're still
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
still
guess I've
Asian.
always been kind of cautious about that.
I
But
can kinda see
thinking
where
more
she
about the
coming
question,
from.
I was like, no, I should be on this side.
The issue of racism
No. Strongly disagree.
This is from the audience?
There are way too many articles about an interracial couple where it's later find out that the white part is saying a racial slur about their child, just to boil it down to like love.
Oh my gosh, you don't understand how many white friends I had that started dating black people, and all of a sudden they the worst N-word, the worst N-word this country has ever seen, and get kicked out. Like, why is this such a big deal if we're all inclusive? And like, come on, bro.
It really can't be done.
It can't.
First of all, that. Second of all, there's a lot of, sorry to name names, but like a lot of white women who want to get with black men.
Yeah,
trying
fetish.
to achieve their light-skinned baby, who's like just the perfect amount of tan with the perfect amount of curls.
Yeah, like raise your hand if you've heard someone be like, oh my gosh, I would have such gorgeous mixed babies. Like, definitely heard that, and we're all gorgeous, don't get me wrong. But that's super problematic to say, one. And two, I'm over here because like there's like no one solution to racism.
Let me make it really clear that a white person having a kid with a black person does not mean that that person does not have
an attraction,
racist tendencies, or is not discriminatory at all.
Facts.
I love my dad to death, but sometimes he just says things where it's like, you shouldn't be saying that.
Plus, like, even in like a future, if like America becomes super mixed and like everybody's mixed, if not racism, we'll still have like colorism and different nuances within racism. It's not going to go away just because people are more mixed. Like, you can say like mixed people are the future or whatever, but it's not going to solve racism.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think most of it is as far as that question goes. I think, you know, we're humans, right? And humans are gonna find a reason to hate. They're gonna find a reason to blow some shit up. They're gonna find a reason to literally do evil. Like, that's just what humans do. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are humans that are good. There are humans that are bad. Like, that's just how life is. I think, so regardless if everybody in the world is mixed in 40 or 50 years, so we're gonna, like she said, it's gonna be colorism. It's gonna be something that's gonna keep people, you know, separate. You know what I'm saying? So, but like, I mean, I pretty much summed it up in the video, but I was ignorant. You know, growing up, I was ignorant to, you know, being mixed people. You know what I'm saying? I was around a lot of mixed crowds too. You know, it was just mixed people. You know, they didn't, and like I said, it took me becoming best friends with a mixed person, and, you know, and dating a mixed girl to know that it's not all just one thing. Like, they want to be themselves. They want to be white. They want to be black. And let me be real with y'all. And it's funny. Both of my mixed people that I'm in relationships with, they got their white tendencies. They got their black tendencies. But I love them for that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just them. And I think a lot of mixed people, you know, and I don't want to speak for y'all, but I'm just saying, because I'm not mixed, I can't speak for y'all. A lot of y'all just need, like, just lean into just being yourself. Just be yourself. If you're not white enough for this crowd, then go to the next white crowd. You know what I'm saying? The same thing. If you're not black enough for this crowd, go to the next black crowd. Or, you know, whatever you mix with. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure you're yourself always, man. And the older you get, the easier it becomes. Like I said, I was somebody that was not understanding at all. It took me dating people and being, you know, friends with people to understand, you know, this is a serious thing. And, you know, how much it hurts them. And how much it hurts them when you're like, oh, you're not black. Oh, you're not white. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like they're both. You know what I'm saying? I know it's crazy for us, you know, one race people, I guess, whatever the slur is, one racers, you know what I'm saying, to understand, like, what you mean. Like, you but these people look at you this way, but they don't want to, you know what I'm saying? They don't like that. They want to be both. You know what I'm saying? So let's just focus on being respectful and calling them both. But anyways, man, that's another video. Thank you again to the subscriber for this video suggestion. And it's your boy, Dad. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Keep it funky. And we are...